Welcome to my channel, guys. My name is James. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of a different video. We're going to be doing a video on how to sharpen a knife with a whetstone. Now, I have learned on how to use a whetstone with my time in the kitchen, through trial and error, through many years of cooking in the kitchen in the United States and Europe. So I'm not a professional knife sharpener. However, I have learned quite a bit. And speaking of which, I am creating an online cookery course, which I have started to put a lot of time and energy into, so you'll get your money's worth out of it. So if you are interested in learning more on how to cook, improving your techniques, then let me know in the comments down below, or email me, or add me on Instagram as well, or follow me on Insta, I should say. Like the video down below and subscribe to my YouTube channel to stay tuned for more content. Now, as for what type of whetstone to use, I personally use one from Kai. It's a Japanese company. They actually own shun knives as well, so they make some good quality knives. I would recommend a 2-in-1 set. So I have a 400 grit on this stone and then 1000 grit on the other. This is a good starter stone to start off with, especially if you have, say, a cheaper quality knife, not a Japanese one, not worth like $1,000. And then I would recommend, say, when you get better at it, obviously if you have a better knife, then you can get the higher grit, the 3000 grit, the 6000 grit, and spend more money on it, because you do want to make your mistakes on things that don't cost you or won't cost you a lot in the piggy bank. So to start off with, we want to soak our whetstone first. This is very important. We are going to soak it for about 10 minutes, more or less. And then after 10 minutes, I'm gonna take it out and put it in my little tray. Not all whetstones come with their own little tray. If they do, that's fantastic. If they don't, you're gonna have to buy one with it, or a holder. It's also a good idea to put a little cloth underneath the tray just so it doesn't move. And we want to make sure that the whetstone has water on it at all times while we sharpen the knife. So now to hold the knife, since I am right-handed, I'm going to hold it more or less as I normally do, with my thumb on the back here of the bolster and my index finger on the hill. And my other hand is going to give it a little bit of support. And then when we put it on the stone, or when we start working on the stone, I'm going to hold it at a little bit of an angle. Not necessarily 45 degrees and not completely flat, but just a little bit of an angle. And real quick, when we want to work on the other side, I'm going to flip the knife around, and I'm going to put my finger, again, my index finger on the spine, more or less, and my thumb right here on the heel at the end of the bolster. And my other hand is going to give it a little bit of support as well. Now, to start off with, we're going to work on the back end of the knife, or the heel. So from about this part to this part first. And we want to find what angle our bevel is at. Now, some people will start throwing numbers out at 15 degrees or 20 degrees or anything like this, but it varies with every single knife. It's not going to be the same with every single bevel with every knife. It's always different, and when you start practicing yourself, you will adjust the bevel a little bit. It's not going to be exactly how it was with the factory. So it's a good idea to put the knife flat on the stone, and then we're just going to lift it, say 1 millimeter or so, or about 2 millimeters, so about a quarter, the size of a quarter, more or less. And when you start to feel that you have a little bit of the bevel, we're going to start off with short strokes, so about 1-inch strokes back and forth, and I'm going to count my strokes. It's very important that we count our strokes, because we want to sharpen the same amount of times on both sides. But chef knives have a double bevel, and we have to keep this more or less completely centered, otherwise the knife is going to cut a little off. So with the passes, we're just going to go back and forth, and then I'm going to flip the knife and do the same thing on the other side. Now, not all knives are the same. Some have a different metallurgy, and some may be a little harder, such as, say, Japanese knives. They tend to be the metal is quite hard. So you want to take your time with this, feel the blade to see how sharp it is. And once you're happy with more or less how sharp it is, we can work on the other part of the blade. I'm going to show you real quick on how to sharpen the tip, which is this part right here. And we're just going to use the corner of the stone, again, with more or less the same angle on the bevel that we used for the heel, in short strokes, more or less 1-inch strokes. And again, once you're happy with the results on what you have done, we're going to work now on this part. This is the curvature, yes, the belly of the knife. we're going to, or we want to make a little bit of a J motion when we push and pull with our strokes. So it's important to keep that angle or this curvature on the blade. So again, with each pass, with each push and pull, it's going to be more or less in a J motion. You want to repeat this on both sides. And then once you have done a few passes and you feel the blade and you go, oh yeah, you actually notice a difference, then we're going to clean the blade off and we're going to flip the stone and work on the higher grit. One thing to keep in mind, if the stone starts to get a little dry, if you notice that you hear a difference in the sound that it's making or you see a lot of debris on it, add water. You continuously want to add water or to lubricate it. You do not want to sharpen the stone when it's dry. Another tip is not to apply too much pressure to the knife when you're sharpening it. If you do, then the blade can actually dig into the stone, which is a mistake that I made with my stone. As you can tell, I have a little bit of a chip on the edge, and that's exactly what happened. But again, all these are trial and errors, and you will have to learn all these little mistakes along the way as well. It's all part of learning, especially when doing anything like this and practicing a new skill. You want to do the exact same thing that we did on the lower grit, on the higher grit. And again, when you get to the point where you feel the blade and you say, yes, I notice a bit of a difference, then we're gonna do the little paper test. Just take any piece of paper that you can find, preferably a stiff one, cut it with the blade and see how much of a difference you have. If you notice that the blade is tearing the paper, especially in say a specific spot on the knife, then you can go over with the polished stone with the higher grit and work on that edge a little more. Again, it is all trial and error, and you will get better with time if you practice and you pay attention to the little mistakes. But like all things, you know, it takes time to learn, and well, hopefully you guys will see some good results. So if you did learn something today, as I hope you did, then like the video down below, subscribe for more content. I'll have a new video out next week. And like I said, I am making my online cookery course. So if you are interested, then let me know and I will be more than happy to let you guys know when that comes out. So until then guys, or until next week, take care and I'll see you guys again very soon.